All right, we're back. Thank you for joining me on Ocean's Entertainment. Today, if you can't tell by the title, we're here for this. Some Lego breakdowns. Some pre-built, partially assembled bricks that I brought together from hauling out lots of different sets. We're going to be focused on breaking this down, sorting this out, and having a good conversation, among other things. I should, before I proceed, mention a couple things. I'm trying to do a new thing with my mic because I was told by some great people it might be too quiet, so this is kind of a test, but also I'm gonna be trying to speak a little louder and maintain a little closer distance to my mic. And then, of course, there must be an intro. Everybody's got an intro. I'm here to bring people together, share and talk about ideas, and just have fun. That's what I'm here for. Get back, relax, kind of just turn off and forget about all the crazy things that are going on these days. There's a lot of stuff going on these days. Probably got a lot of people stressed out, but that's kind of like life. You look back, there's always something crazy going on that gives you a reason to be stressed out or worried about things. And that's part of life. And that's why I realized I want to make a space to kind of relieve some of that, because there's always going to be chaos, there's always going to be stress. So why not create a space that's the opposite of that, And so that's what I'm here for today and for the future. Starting with these breakdowns. A lot of fun stuff in here. I had a friend of mine over and I had him play with these while I was organizing, and I had him mess with these, and he made this big crazy MOC. It's pretty cool. It's just a classic type of Lego MOC, you put Legos together and just have fun. I might leave it together for a while. It's pretty sweet, and it reminds me of some old space sets type stuff. But yeah, that's why this is kind of partially broken down already, because he was playing with it and having a good time, because that's what Lego is all about. I'm having a little bit of an issue here. I want to manage it, but it is what it is. All I need to do is find a little something to stick under there, but we'll leave it at that. Breakdowns are straightforward. We're taking them all apart. And you can do it, as I've said before in many videos, any number of ways. Your way is the best way. And so I kind of like to do a twofer where as I'm going, I'm taking things apart. And I'm also partially sorting at the same time. But the bottom line is for me to get as much of this broken down as quickly as possible. So then I can sort it a little bit better from there. Sorry if that was a little loud. But yeah, there's always going to be a lot of Lego sounds on this channel. That's what I had highly anticipated. So as I go through here, I'll be kind of creating buckets on the side here that will kind of come into play. This one's already made. This is a 1x6 brick and larger. So anything like that just goes in there. And as I'm seeing some awesome things already, I've got buckets set up on the side already for a lot of different things. So I see these 4 bricks that have a 90-degree angle, and that's kind of how I've sorted out those in their own right. Any brick that has a 90-degree angle has a home of its own, and I think there was one I wanted to mention. Look at the longer ones, because there it is. Bam. So like even this one, I'm going to put in the same home with these guys. So we'll get a bucket. Bam. Set those aside, and anytime I see those, they go in there. And I actually have another bucket. I almost slipped up at first for the curved. If it has an actual smooth curve, the big and the small. And I'm trying to make a home for these guys. I'm going to need to probably put them into one of these that I've talked about on my channel before, the medium to large size container that I like to store my Lego in. Let's proceed. I feel like I'm slacking. We gotta break stuff down. I use my fingers a lot. As you probably saw already, I've got these ready to go. I've got a lot of other tools on the side I like to use if needed, because I'm not trying to, I'm doing my absolute best not to damage the bricks. Sometimes it's almost impossible. So I just started a special plate bucket. I'm going to just stick it right over here for now. That's going to get filled up pretty quickly. I don't know how obnoxious it is on the mic, but I'm probably going to continue just throwing my basic plates into the bucket to the left there, which I know it's crazy, but once you get a large portion of bricks, you really need to have large containers. And so, kind of back to some old tactics, if I'm going to bring out some large plates, I may as well grab a bunch of large plates while I'm at it. So there's, we're getting these large plates. I'm going to leave my tool in the bucket. That's what I really enjoy about these, that they're orange. Oh man, there's one right there. That's so funny. 3 of them in there. You just throw them in there, and when you need one, you got it. You're right there. It's right there. And then, so that's that. So look at this nightmare. I'm going to get right in there. I got my tool. Bam, I'm just getting right to it. And I'm actually bummed about that I don't actually have the large brick separator that is exclusive, I believe, exclusive to the Lego Brick Mosaics sets. And you get the super wide, it's like 6 wide, and it's black. I'm sure all of y'all seen it before, know about that. Those of you who have seen it know what I'm talking about. Alright, so we're getting a nice pile of plates going on here. It's going to be a trick because sometimes I'll move the elements while I'm talking, and that sound will probably go over my voice. I don't want to do that too often. And so, I'm just going to keep busting at it. Like in the description, I kind of want to just do, I'm thinking I might do this one for 2 hours, if not an hour and a half. And so there'll be a nice little division where the first half I'm going to be sorting this stuff, talking about Lego, having a good time doing what we do here. And then the second half, I want to get into a couple of other things different, change gears. We're doing a Lego Technic brick bucket now, or I am starting one. There's another 45er, 2 45ers going in the home. And then, I need to start a bucket for basic bricks. I'm going to probably have that right here, straight and forward, straight front and center. Because, they're pretty common, but I'm not actually seeing a whole lot here, so I might actually move that out. But as I was saying, I want to talk about some MOCs that I've already made and some MOCs that I plan to make in the future, in the second half. 2x4 tile. And as I'm doing this, it is a breakdown, but it's also a haul out. It's a sort for me. I don't want to just do it. I kind of want to do as much as I can in one go. It's not always possible, and you just gotta go. You gotta just go with it. So I'm just gonna make that standard brick, less than 1x6 even for the 1x and 2x anything in there. And as I've oh no, I've blocked it up. Dang it, I should have opened it, fixed it before I started the video. But I have a throw bucket, of course, for my straight slopes. Also, I want to show this off. My 2x3 bricks bucket is almost full. I need to start a new one of these very soon. And then now we have a throw bucket for the straight slope bricks, which there's going to be a lot of those. I need to start a little spot for tiles, just straight up tiles like I mentioned. I found this chair in here I'm super hyped about. I don't know why I love the chairs, because it gets me thinking about my big airplane build I want to make. It sounds weird, but I have this crazy ridiculous element. Maybe I'll bust it out for you. This channel wouldn't be Ocean's Entertainment if I didn't go all over the place all the time. So you just expect randomness. This is a really sweet element I get excited about. It's just the big, huge plane wing base. Like, what are you going to do with this except build a big ginormous plane, right? And so, you know, there's been plenty of sets that have had this featured, etc., etc., but I want to take it to the next level and really make something that shines. And of course, that's why I started from the full circle here. This is so fun. I have so many. Every one of these is a legit Lego chair, and I've just been grabbing them taking forever, you know. And so I have enough to make something cool with those chairs. And I just think of the seats in the airplane is what I was getting at whenever I see those, and I'm like, yes, I have another chair. And then of course these things, I've got a lot of things that have a specific home already, which is good. Technic bricks, going where I need to go. I want to start a little bucket, a little container. I've already got it going on here for 1x2 and 1x3 anything. Keep it small. Keep it small. So, I mean, it's going to help you later. I want to have something that has the small ones and then the big ones. So if it's bigger than 1x3, they're all going to go in there. Yeah. There's a brick. And then here's these basic plates, these 2x plates. They'll find a home here shortly. I'm seeing this right here. I see a lot of these, so I'm just going to get on there, get those out of there. And I like this. I've actually got this on site. This element has always been bugging me, but it's got a home now. This 1x2, 3-sloped element. Not getting it on the camera well, my bad. But whatever. You know all about it. That's a fun one. Lot of different elements. But that's where it comes down to your judgment, how you want to sort your Lego, and you know, if you have the skills and the desire, you can really use different things in your roster of skills to help you organize your Lego. You don't have to have you don't have to have one container for every single different element. I always look for an opportunity to combine elements in the same home. So, for example, like these guys actually have two separate homes. These brackets, the 1x brackets and the 2x brackets, because there's actually two versions of this one and two versions of this one in terms of size and stuff, and I keep those two in one and these two in another, and I used to have all four of them in one, but then I've got 2 and 2. So that's kind of a perfect example of where it's like once upon a time I had all the brackets together. Didn't matter. Then I got enough to where I need 2 over here and 2 over there. And that's, you know, that was helpful. A lot of elements. I'm all over the place because that's what I do. I'm separating. We're going to get the special plates a little more front and center, because you kind of want to have the ones that you think are going to be most common, you know, right in front of you, obviously. Yeah, so yep, this bucket is going to be bricks of any size of 1x2 and above up until 6. I definitely need to start a bucket right away for the 1x tiles. Those are all over the place. And see, look at that. Like, for example, this whole thing breaks down into this bucket. Boom, boom, boom. I could break it all down into the bin and then sort it out later, but I mean, this is all one thing. This all goes right there. Bam. And then while I'm at it, I'm just going to grab a bunch more. And yeah, you might notice, you know, some people struggle with tile separating, plate separating, etc. I don't really, because, I mean, I keep my nails trimmed, but I always leave just enough to help me get in between the plates when needed. It's important. If you cut your nails too short, you're going to struggle. You're going to be in more pain that way, quite honestly. And I've noticed that a lot over the years of kind of helping people and studying Lego and people working with it. I also need to start a bucket right away for 2x plates and tiles. I kind of started a place over here for just random special elements like ratcheted plates, and these I love these booby trap plates where you can make like a trap door. I love these so much. Anything interactive, anything that moves, that gets me excited. I love those things, and because my goals is to make interactive things that move. You see a lot of that on the internet nowadays, which is amazing, and that's definitely what's inspired me. But I've always kind of had a little bit of a thing for that, and it actually kind of goes in both directions. I also like to try to make things that are static that look like they're moving, and I think I'd love that concept. Um, I mean, it's kind of a pretty straightforward concept, but it's like when you think about it, it's kind of pretty interesting. Where you make a static object that's not moving look like it's in motion, and have it have certain vibrations, certain kinds of, when you look at it, you're like, that doesn't look quite right. So yeah, a couple things I'm interested in. Textured brick, definitely want to make a little side home for those, because those will come through pretty quickly. What's funny is I see two of these, and I actually have a bucket right in front of me for them. There's that. Another one of these without its thing. So I'm going to keep this on the side, because I'm sure it's probably in here somewhere. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, that's so funny. That looks like a little toilet right there. I bet you it is. Bet you it was. Little Lego toilet. And then, so this is a perfect example. Sometimes there's some elements that'll look like this. Let's get a close look at this. I'm not sure if it'll focus. I have a very low quality camera. I apologize. But yeah, regardless, I was trying to show there's some dust on there. Pretty significant amount of dust, but I have these toothbrushes that are unused, of course, and other paint brushes and such, and I can get up in there between those and just boop. Yeah, I mean, dust obviously goes into the air and does whatever, but that doesn't really bother me. It's gonna get cleaned up. It's gonna go away eventually, so I just get up in there, get that off. That's good as new, just like that. Instead of those going into the dirty bucket bag, which there is quite a large amount of dirty elements that are building up, and I've been procrastinating taking care of them. So I try to, if it's not that dirty, it just gets a brush off. And certain things like this, I might even just take them straight to their home right now, because I don't want to start a new bucket when I have the bucket right there, So, breakdowns, they're pretty tedious. They can be a little bit more tedious than just your standard haul out. But it really comes down to your focus, and then your personal level. Like, you want to just have fun with it, you want to get it done. Go with your gut. That's something that is very important to me. I've learned over the years. And I think that says a lot about following yourself, following you, following who you are. Is that saying, go with your gut. That's a very important thing. I realized that's not that there's no way that it's not just a thing. There's a reason why that's a thing. My mom is a very special doctor of the human body and medicine of wide reaches that beyond my comprehension, and she knows so much about how the body works, and she's always talking about the gut and this, that, and the other, and it just makes sense. It just makes sense. And so your gut is so important that if it's saying something to you, you need to listen. So yeah, when you're sorting Lego, listen to your gut. Alrighty, so we're doing a little of this, doing a little of that. These rounds, I consider them special plates. Anything that is not a square or rectangle, right? And I actually just finally made a consolidated home for them the other day. I could have done it on camera, but it just would have been a lot of loud noise and stuff, so I was just like, meh. But it was awesome because I had all these buckets and buckets under the table filled up with special plates and like this, just like buckets of these. And I needed to just get them all together, get a large box, a large container, you know, one of these, and get them all in there, get her done. And finally I got it done. That's pretty satisfying. I actually made a home for these as well, if you can believe it. The 2x4s needed their own home. So many of those now. So this is nice. We got a nice little portion of these that can go in the 2x3 anything. I meant to say 1x2, 1x3 anything. And then, yeah, like these old, I like to call them like medieval wheels, you know. They're like Stone Age or like Viking kind of, you know. I think there's a lot of different applications you can do with these. They're a lot of fun. And so these definitely have their own home, and they go with the quarters, the quarter rounds. I almost call them like pie pieces, rounds, you know. I don't really know what the name for these are, but they clearly have, they obviously have one. But I'm being a little bit apprehensive about them because, oh, here, yeah, it's almost full. So it looks like I've got just enough space to get these 5 in there, and then this guy needs to get leveled up at some point real soon. Otherwise, once you start getting it too full, you're trying to move it in and out of your stack-ons or whatever, acro mills. If you do any of those, it gets too high and it gets really hard to get out, and so you don't want to do that. So that was actually really funny. Those fit in there perfectly, but I was like really like, oh no, those aren't going to fit in there. All right, so here we've got a little bit of a thing. You're probably not going to be able to see it, but I've got a couple of plates here that seem to have some nasty, I don't know what this is. It's like a green residue, some gum or something or rather. And these are cool pieces. This is a special color and a special, you know, plate. I don't want to get rid of these. They're not going to get rid of. But what they're going to do is they're going to go in the dirty bag. Get these separated if possible. And then, you know, I'm going to go, eventually the bag will get a very significant isopropyl and maybe even vinegar bath. They'll be good as new. All right, let's keep it going. What else? I've actually been trying to do things better for myself and the channel so I can actually stay focused on things. While we're doing this, I want to try to continue talking about things. I'm excited for a little later when I get into the mock show-off portion. I'm excited for that. I'm thinking about that now. I shouldn't be thinking about that now. I need to start a bucket for those. Yep, there it is. That one in my hand right there. I'm like, where do I put that? It needs to go in a bucket. So here, we're going to put it right there because there's just too many of these now. And I think that I want to do 2x2, 2x3, and 2x4. And then have one that's 2x6 and above. Those are going to be on the side. But the 1x2, 1x6, 2x6, Darn it. 2x2, 2x3, and 2x4 are going in here. All right. Today's a good day. I hope everyone is having a good day as well. The best they can. I realize that being just okay is enough, you know. At least if you're just okay, that's good. And I'm sure a lot of people would be happy to be just okay right now. So if you're just okay, you know, it's okay. Because I know it sounds cliche or cheesy, but it's okay to just be okay. Yep, that goes there. And I've got this bucket over here. I don't know why I keep calling it this in my head, but it's like the clip and the grip and grip and rip, because it's all these little, like, it's all the connectors, the beams, and the little zippy, ratchety, kind of connecty, all those. I put them all in one, and then I sort those out later. Couple of clippies, clippy grippy. Couple more clippy grippies. You gotta come up with little things like that in your head, you know, fun little things that remind you of what's what and how you want it. And then there's always something that needs to be leveled up. So it gets to a trick where you might just have to have a level up day where you just spend your time consolidating. That's definitely something I am been procrastinating. Here's a cool element, kind of unique. I like this one. It's got a lot of straight slopes, but it's all one piece. Yeah, I'm doing the camera a little closer today. I don't know if I like it or hate it. I think I hate it. As I don't have the ability to, I'm a little too far away. I want my hands to be a little more visible, but it is ever changing. And it is okay to be just okay. So right now we're just okay. Lot of hinges. There's brackets and hinges of many kinds. And so I have a big bucket of those right there. You just gotta get up in there, rip it apart. I should have this on me too. So when there's just a lot of dusty guys, boom, get them dusted off. Lot of brackets in one right there. I kind of sometimes make little piles on the side if I kind of realize there's not going to be a whole ton of what I'm hauling out, because this is pretty consolidated portion of Lego elements, and so I feel pretty strongly there's not going to be a whole ton of diversity in a sense. think. Okay, so that goes there and that goes there. Okay. And I also have a throw bin, I think I've mentioned over there, for anything that's a arc. So it's like an arch or a arc, however you want to say that. And these kinds of things, I really love these as well. I intend to use these a lot in the future. Once I start cracking down and doing more MOCs and really building, I'm going to be building some figures. I want to build figures out of Lego that actually look cool, have articulation, and are robust. And, you know, the sky's the limit. The imagination is the limit. And with an element like this existing, it opens up an infinite amount of possibilities. It's articulatable. It's incredible. You fully rotate all the way back and forth. I love these. Anything like this, because it kind of combines. It's a combination of course I can never find anything when I want it. Bricks, element, Lego system, and Technic kind of coming together. And I love that. And that's how you can make some really incredible stuff. So that's where this is going to live, in here with those. And so that's going to really help me in the future make some incredible MOCs in that department. Actually have articulatable joints and weapons and all kinds of sweet things like that. A couple of texture bricks, throw those over there. And yeah, and that once I'm getting into the flow of here, this ain't too bad at all. This ain't too bad at all. Technic pile, brick. I'm gonna bust this out. See what I'm saying? So I need to start a little bucket for Technic elements. Look at that, nice big plate. I'm coming right along. 3 of those over there. That goes there. And then curved slopes. I'll definitely need to make a bucket for them. And look at these. There's a lot of these here. So this is so cool. I mean, this is like a breakdown. I meant to say a haul. I'm thinking of many things. The nature of it, in a sense, because you can find anything. Because I separated these while in a haul, so I didn't really look that close at it. I just was like, okay, there's enough elements put together here right now that I don't want to spend the time on this, so set this aside. And now I'm doing those set on the sides. And so there could be anything in here. Some really cool stuff. So yeah, I do apologize if there's not like a ton of action on the screen. So that's something I need to work on. I think it's obviously just because the camera is a little closer today than I would have liked. But we're experimenting. We just went for it. That's what you got to do in life. You just got to go for it. Learning that more every day. And now I'm realizing I need to start a Technic bucket. We'll get that going right here in the corner. Bam. Anything Technic related. I don't even really need to take it apart, because I'm gonna have a Technic day where I have got buckets and buckets under the table. Anything Technic, I'll be sorting that out later, as this is gonna be a massive undertaking. And this is insane. I think this is a pin that's broken in half. Oh no, I've never seen that before. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of that, this will fill up quite quickly, because there's always an abundance of Technic elements in any haul. There's just they're there because Lego really likes to incorporate them as much as possible. fiber. And these are always a funky element. This is pretty cool. It's an A-frame. I actually have a special, I have a little slot in my small acro mills just for these, but it's overloaded at this point, so I need to consider what I'm going to do with these. So I'm actually just going to throw those in the special plate right now because I can't deal with those. And in my mind, it's a special plate. It's just a very special plate. 1x3 over there. Nice little handful of 1x3s. See, I gotta, take advantage of that while I'm here. If my mind's on 1x3s, keep looking for 1x3s. You'll see them. So what else? Let's take a look over here. There's a concept made by Lego that's called a Lego Inside Tour. It's something I believe you can pay for. You can go all the way to Billund in Denmark to the Lego house and participate in this very personal, very intimate, incredible experience where you kind of get walked through the history, the past, present, and future of Lego in a sense. Look at this little mini MOC of the. I'm about to take it apart. You already know what it is from Star Wars or whatever. That's so funny. And you get to go into the Lego Vault, which those of you know what that is. You know what that is. It's an incredible experience where you get to look at every single Lego set that has ever been made in numerical order. So, like, there's a number on every single Lego set. And a lot of people don't actually know this, but for a long, long time, that was actually the running number of the set. Like, it was this is the number 729. I'm actually going to give you an example of it. Let's check this out. My picker, an incredible guy who has helped me get this far, who I'm so grateful for, hooked me up with this, and I can, yep, here it is, an original OG set. I'm so grateful to have this. I'll probably make a whole episode about this. And as you can see here on the side, 492. And so that means this was literally the 492nd Lego set ever made, in a sense. I give or take a few, because there was those special wooden ones and all that. And so, I almost lost my train of thought of why I started talking about that. But the Lego number on the side there does have a relative meaning. It's not just some random code. Ah, I remember. Inside Tour, Lego Vault. This is an incredible experience that you can have. It's a once in a lifetime, and I believe it is a huge ordeal. You know, you got to spend a good bit of money, you got to cross the world, and you got to do this big thing. I love that idea. Another idea that I had from that was, I love Lego so much, and talking about it, I kind of want to create my own Lego Inside Tour on this channel that's free. How that will work is still in the in the process of working. but it'll happen. I think it'll happen. Because it's actually something that I do all the time. And it's kind of what made me start doing this channel, is whenever someone comes over and they see all my Lego, I just start going crazy and I just start talking to them about all the cool, fun things that I know about and have learned from all the other incredible people in the Lego community. And so it's like, wait, what am I doing? I should just do this on the camera, on the YouTube. So I've done it. Here I am, rambling about Lego. And I love it. I'm having a blast. Lego Inside Tour. I would like to provide the community with an in-depth, personal, and intimate Lego experience. I want to show all that there is to offer with what I know. And in time, maybe that will simply happen from the episodes that I make like this, or I'll start a whole series that's really focused on that. Probably the latter. So, well, I would like to hope so. That's what I would like to do. Ooh. Ah. I thought that was a special print. I was going to get really excited. Because that's what's so fun when you're going through here and you get into the depths, you might actually find gold. You might find a very rare element that's just been forgotten in time. And I want to give you an example of that. Look at this. I put it in this container. You'll not be able to see it too well, but while parting out a set, the hulls like this, I've been to put together an original Lego minifigure. An original one. I'll pull it out of here one day and we'll get a good look at that. See, that's what I mean. That'll be a part of the Lego Inside Tour. There'll be a ton of parts of it. Well, there'll be a long portion of it that involves minifigures. Inside Tour is something I could talk about for hours. Let's leave it at that best I can. Because I would like to talk about other things as well. There is a theme, or was a theme, or a line, you could call it, because it's not necessarily a theme. Because a theme in Lego is like Ninjago, or Batman, etc., etc. Whereas Batman is also an IP, but it's still a theme. This line isn't necessarily a theme because they're all different. And it is my absolute favorite one. It's a very special one and has been for a very long time to most people in the community because they're sets made by the yous and the me's of the Lego community, and which is to me the coolest idea ever, because for a long time the idea of making a Lego set and it being accepted by Lego and then they make it into a Lego set that other people could have access to, that was a fantasy that didn't seem like that would ever be possible once upon a time. Unless you were some super smart, gone to college for 12 years, electrophysical engineer with a master's degree in thermodynamics. I'm being a little crazy, but you got to be a pretty educated person to work for Lego, let alone be someone who makes sets for Lego. You have to be on the upper echelon of education. But this line that most people probably could figure out what I'm talking about by now is called Ideas. It was actually changed not too long ago. I still like to call it Ideas because it is the heart of the concept. It's an idea, and it's kind of part of this channel. Ideas. You've heard me say that all the time. We're going to share and talk about ideas on this channel all the time. And That's why ideas are so cool, because they're, again, made by you and me. And someone who was passionate, someone who was excited about an idea, and they went to the stars. They literally went to the stars. They did something so incredibly cool that thousands and thousands of people said, "That's incredible. I'd buy that." And then Lego said, "Whoa, okay, let's check this out." They said, "This is good enough. We're going to tweak it a little bit, and then we're going to put it in a box. We're going to sell it, and you're going to get 1% forever." That's pretty crazy. I think that's so incredible. And it's not even necessarily about the money. I'm so happy that the people get the money. They deserve it probably more than 1%. I don't know if that's changed. I don't know if that's still happening, but once upon a time, I believe that was the case. But these are such cool ideas. A lot of people have noted in the past years, they have tended to lean a little bit more heavily in the direction of IPs, where as in the beginning there was a lot more original ideas, which I think is what it is. You know, you can't, things change, things come and go, and so I think it's awesome. I'll give you a quick example of that. This is a very special ideas set, the Sesame Street Ideas Set, IP. That's a perfect example of an incredible idea set. Because when that was made, there was no minifigures. It was like a concept. It was just a special concept. And I just get so excited about that. Those sets. I collect a lot of them. One day I would like to have all of them all lined up. But I don't know if that's going to be possible, because some of them are actually so incredibly difficult to get a hold of now. They're going for thousands of dollars. Close to, I don't know about that, but some, obviously there are Lego sets that are going for thousands of dollars. One set that I would just kill for, and I do plan to get one day and make a huge episode on it, a whole big thing, is, I believe it's from the Lego Movie or Lego Movie 2 series, line, theme, whatever you want to call it. But the name of the set is called Welcome to Apocalypseburg. And I just love the concept of it. And I want to build it, and then I almost want to take it apart and then recreate it and make it bigger and better and even more of a Apocalypseburg or whatever than it already is. And that concept of kind of taking a set and making it even bigger and better is another kind of a basic idea I kind of like to juggle around with a little bit. There's a couple of sets that I really have a thing for and want to build, but also just add and add and add and add, and just see how far and how crazy I can make it look in the end, you know, and then see if I can, you know, see if I can make it unrecognizable to the original. But yeah, that's just a silly idea. But yeah, that's a little bit on ideas. Maybe I want to show you one more, because this is actually one that got me really excited early on. I've never necessarily been someone who's been excited about Minecraft, the video game. It's a very cool thing. I just never got into it that much. But the concept of Lego Minecraft, to me, call me weird or whatever you want, is so cool. I think this is so cool. And this micro world set just so happens to be an incredibly rare and special Kuso set that was the original line of ideas. So it was Kuso. See if we can get that to focus for once. All right, can't see it. Kuso number 3, it says right there. This is the third set in the whole line of ideas, because apparently it was Japanese exclusive or something like that. And then it became a worldwide sensation. And with the massive amount of hauls I go through, I am able to part back together sets, of course, when I get the manual or something like that. I don't necessarily just go out of my way and make them. Like I could by just using the internet, but I don't really want to. I want to do it when I get the manual, and then it kind of gives me a reason to do it. And so that leads me to this. I was actually able to reconstruct and rebuild that. I just showed you Lego Kuso number 3 from scratch. And you can literally see, it's going to be pretty hard, but you can see the prints of the face of Steve and the little pig there. I added that little pig because you gotta add. But this is so fun, and I'm going to do some really exciting stuff with this and add and make a crazy big Minecraft micro world one day. And I think that's so fun. Kuso, ideas, and now it's called idols. And I think that's awesome because they are idols. If you get to be a Lego idea idol maker, you're an icon. Or maybe it's icons. Maybe it is icons. That's so funny. I'm spacing. I think it's either icons or idols. I think it's icons. Now that I'm saying that. It is. It's Lego icons. You are an icon. That's so cool that you did this. It's so cool. It's one of the coolest things ever in the world of Lego. But there's always tons of cool things in the Lego community. Been working on this breakdown for a good bit here now. I thought I'd get a little farther than I have, but I've been doing a lot of talking. That's what I do. That's a good thing. One of these days, I am going to have my chat back up so that I can see if anyone comes in and hangs out. And or wants to say anything. Oh yeah, that's what this was from. It's so interesting. I noticed this piece here. This is so unique because I think I've seen this piece before, but this one has some notches out of the bottom. This is so unique because I'm almost certain I've seen this element before without these notches, and this is weird to me. I really want to know what that's about. I need to get boned up on my colors again. And all kinds of things, because I believe this is nougat. I used to know a lot of the colors, almost all of them, but gotten a little rusty. So yeah, I think pretty quickly we're going to transition over to the show and tell portion. The, again, show and tell portion of the video, where I get to geek out about some MOCs that I'm in the process of, and hopefully we'll make a video focused entirely on that one MOC and finishing it on camera, which would just be fun for me and whoever wants to see it. And then a few ideas that have yet to come to life, but I am preparing for and have been thinking about for a long time. because I actually like that idea, the idea of having an idea and thinking about it for a really long time and kind of building it in your mind. And you can like build it and take it together and build it and take it apart. I mean, in your mind as many times as you want. And then when you get down to it, it's like, boom. And because I know there's this program, I really should know what it's called. It's called I think it's called like, I can't remember, but it's a very awesome program that allows you to build infinitely with Lego elements in a 3D space. And it's definitely like the Lego CAD program of modern Lego building. Excuse me. A very big asset to you if you don't have a lot of Lego pieces, or if you want to make something big and don't want to spend a lot of time building this thing before you build it, in a sense, because you don't want to build something big, get halfway through it and realize you messed up big and you have to take the whole thing apart. Like, that's probably builder's worst nightmare. And you know, as you get better and better, you know how to avoid that by building ahead of time or modularly. I've grown to really like building things modularly, but I still am very new to it in a sense. So I try to adapt to that as much as possible, because I know it's cool. It feels cool where you make a bunch of small things and then you put them together and it makes this other thing, and it's almost like more stable and it looks better, instead of just trying to make one thing. Like just build this and then build it. No, I'm going to build this, but I'm going to build it in a bunch of small things and then put it together. It's going to be easier to put together. It's going to look better. Alrighty, well, I think I want to maybe move this stuff out of the way. We will continue this in the future, or I will have already done it, which is more than likely. And from here, we can bring out a nice little one of these. A couple of nice little display trays. And we can talk about a couple cool ideas here before we wrap up the night. I don't know if I want to go 2 hours. Maybe we'll just go an hour 30 at most. So let's just get into it. Let's dive into it. I think the first one I want to just grab is this plane that I have been working on for quite some time. I've been trying to get a pretty close recreation to a specific plane in a specific video game. It would be fun to see if, as I'm building this, anyone could guess or figure out what it is. But I kind of want to just tell you now. There's a little bit more white than I want, but there is a plane called the Velum, V-E-L-U-M. It's a little jet in the Crazy wild video game, Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. And it's a super fun little fast jet. And that's it. And it just looks cool. And I thought that I just loved the look of it when I was playing that game for a little while. And so I was like, I want to make that. I want to recreate it in Lego and then hang it from the ceiling. And so I feel I'm really actually excited about how far I've come with this and how close it does look. But it needs a good bit of work still because I need to figure out how to get these, because it has two fins downward like that, right? But it also has two more fins like that, and it doesn't actually have this. Like, that's not there. It has two small ones down and two ones up at a diagonal. So I need to figure out how to get those on there and make it look good. But I'll do that eventually. And then if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I have started. Well, because this was just a little bit of a mock, of course. So you got to do it your way. I wanted to try to make it as close as possible to the source material, but in the end, you got to do what you got to do. And so I've added a lot more white than there actually is. I've made a relatively good wing here, ish. I don't know if I love it again if I love it or hate it, and then but I need to do some work because I'm not even sure how I'm going to attach this as it is. I kind of got to a weird builder's block moment with this where I got the wing and I got the thing, I got the module build going on here. But it gets pretty tricky when you try to put things together. You got to have a plan. And then I do really like these really wild landing gears, these landing pads that make it look like it could land on water. And I really like these, the way I made these look. And so I'm going to incorporate these because this is, again, another little piece of modular build. I built the landing gears separately ahead of time. Like, these are pretty cool. So I was like, I'm going to keep these and rock those as is. And so in time, I'll get this one going, and I'm going to make a really cool Veloom jet 2-seater from GTA 5 Online, or just in general, the video game. So let's put these away and get out the next one. This next one's pretty cool. I really like it a lot because they've actually started to do a lot more nature and wildlife kind of sets throughout the Lego industry. And so there's like the botanical line and all kinds of really cool like insects and things. And I remember specifically there's this Ideas, again, there it is, a set that I really, really want that is just birds. It's like these 3 birds. It's so cool. And so that one actually really inspired me. Plus I had this really cool friend, still do, named Robin, who they're really cool. And so I don't know why, but I had this desire to build a robin, the bird, a robin. And so this is how far I've gotten basically with it. I really like this. I really went for it with a modular build. The head still needs some work, but I'm really happy with this shape of this body. This is quite literally just the body. And I did build it in some pretty significantly modular ways that I'm really happy with. Like, that piece literally just kind of goes right there. Same on the other side, you just pop that off, but it is only held on by one stud, but that's what you got to do. And this was actually a perfect example of one of my first really good snot builds, where I was able to kind of get a bit of a textured and molded shape with studs going in all directions, relatively. And then this back slope, I'm pretty satisfied with as well. That swooping down to the tail. I wanted the tail to be a little longer, but you know, again, this was the first time I might completely take this apart and build it again. And then again, I really was excited about this one, and I was using a lot of like a specific photo off of Google Images where I really just went for it. And this wing here, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but man, this wing really fits well. But I need to figure out how to get it actually on there and kind of back, because I wanted to have the wings kind of on, kind of back like that. There you go. And so can't quite get the justice of it, but see, that kind of looks pretty good right there. It's like a headless robin. You can almost see it, right? And there goes the wing. But yeah, work in progress. I love this. This is actually a head that I took off of a little penguin build I built forever, and it kind of perfectly fit there because the head is going to be black with that white like that. But I realized the head is way too small. I need to build it a little bit bigger. And then the eyes kind of just make it look weird. I'm not sure how I want to do that. So yeah, I love it. It's a really cool build. Still in the process. It's just a brick-built robin. I think it's cool. You got to think outside the box and do different things. And I like making all kinds of random things like that. Couple more. This is I like making little small sets, little tiny, another one of these ideas that I really like is making a small scene incredibly complex. So how much detail can you pack into this tiny little space? And that's what's fun for me, is almost sometimes setting up rules, or not rules, but guidelines for yourself can actually create really cool ideas. And so this plate always has kind of, right when I saw it, I was like, what? This is so weird and cool. It's a very special base plate that just has this smooth road part, and then a couple of, like, there's a singular row of studs on the side, and this row of 7, an odd number, on the other side of the road. And so I don't know why, but the first thing that came to mind for me was I really want to build. I'm not really happy with this right now, so I'm probably going to take this whole thing apart one day. Honestly, and just start from scratch, because you can't really even see the idea, and it's not really there yet. But the idea is that I want it to be like a really cool, old-timey New York newspaper stand. And because I have a ton of different newspaper prints, and that got me kind of inspired to make this alongside this base plate. Because I want to have just the whole 9 yards with this. It'll be super packed up, and I want it to look really like dilapidated and just kind of slapped together with pieces of wood and metal wire and pipes, and just be this like shack on the side of the road. And it's selling newspapers, and it'll have a very not rundown, but very old-timey, maybe 20s, 30s, 40s vibe, or even earlier than that, maybe New York or whatever, because I don't have a whole lot of knowledge in the history of that. I could just look it up, obviously, but maybe I will, and I'll have more of an accurate depiction of that. That's kind of the idea behind this one. Because I love this roof print here, and I kind of went for it with the textured, but it doesn't vibe. I'm not feeling it. I want it to be more dilapidated, more different, and I don't want to use bricks as much with this. I really want to build it. I want a little part of it to one of the guidelines I want to use for this is not use bricks. I can't use bricks. It can only be put together with like bars and clips and plates and brackets. So it literally looks like it's just held together by junk. And so it's not like, this is a little bit too much of a brick-eaty brick building. So yeah, New York paper stand, old-timey awesomeness. That's the vibe with this one. And yeah, there's always tons of different things. You can even take something that already exists, like a little model like this, like a silly little motorcycle model, and like, hey, I like this. I like the model. I like the shape of this. I want to make this out of Lego. So I'm going to set this on the table, and I'm going to stare at this until I recreate it in Lego. This is one of my future ideas. I think this is super cool, and I want to be as detailed and accurate to this as possible. I don't think I'll make it this size. I'll probably make it like 4 times the size of this. I mean, not 4 times, but like 2 or 3 times the size of this. Make this badass motorcycle. Pardon my language. But yeah, this is sick. Yeah. Get a badass biker girl on there as well. Alright. That leads to some more awesome ideas for the future that are not quite here yet. I did actually just find I have a whole drawer and box over there that has like partially built ideas in there just for me and when I want to do it and just this type of thing. This is a super fun one. I don't know why this is such a cool idea to me, but I really want to do this. I want to take this right here and turn it into a super relatively realistic looking lure. Like with the hook and the thing and the thing and all the stuff. I want to get crazy with it. And just, I don't know how it happened, but my picker found this. He found this just like this in a haul. I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. You want to have this? And he gave it to me. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, lure. Cool, badass Lego lure. This is so cool. And so I'm going to do the rope with the thing and all that and try to get some tackle on there, some weights and the hook. You already know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use that 3-pointed grapple thing for the tip. It's going to look perfect. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I know it's already been done, but I think a cool thing. Ooh, oh man, I forgot about these. Oh, I've got so many things to show off. Maybe in the last few minutes here, I will show off a few of these. But something that I will be making in the future are fully functioning Lego brick built or element built, whatever, guns. They're super fun. They're toy guns. Bam! This is a semi-automatic rubber band gun. I cannot take any credit for the design of this. It came from a book that I'll show off later, some other time. But this is some incredible design that I recreated and then colored the handle and put a red tip on there so everyone knew this was fake. And then I did all this cool detailing and all this amazingness. And then boom, now I have a Lego rubber band gun that literally looks like it's almost looks like Han Solo's little laser blaster. And I'll take this out every once in a while and shoot people with it with rubber bands. It's so much fun. We'll play with this. We'll build more stuff like this. Bam. There's actually more than one. These are really incredible. These are some of the coolest things I've ever made. This next one took years to get together. It was incredible. That last one, probably the last one I just showed you, took about 2 years to compile the pieces and eventually build it as is. This one took like 3 years. This is a fully functioning brick built gun that shoots 1x2 bricks in a semi-automatic fashion. This thing is incredible. Again, can't take any credit for the design. I will show off the book and give 100% credit to that person where it's due, of course. But I created this from the book, and here it is. It's so cool. It works 100%. It needs like 3 different rubber bands, which are not in there currently because, as you might know, rubber bands over time degrade and they just fall apart. And that kind of happened in there. And so it's kind of out of commission, but it's so cool because you can actually see, like, that's the slide right there for where the 1x2 bricks would line up, and then the rubber band, the tension brings up the 1x2s up that slide there into the barrel or chamber or whatever. So this is so much fun. We're going to be doing a lot of this in the future. Enough about that. This is so cool, but I won't shut up about it. Back to the idea of mentioning, don't let the concept of your idea already being done discourage you. Don't let that happen. Perfect example. I've always wanted to build a really cool yellow submarine set. Yes, the one from Beatles. Blah, blah, blah. And I've had that idea for a long time. One day, it was released as a Lego Ideas set. So that happened, and I can't be bummed out about it. But the point is I'm still going to do it. Here's just a few of the pieces that I want to feature. You can already kind of see where I'm going with this. We got the yellow stuff. We got the yellow. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Take a look at this. Okay. See some really cool, very special Lego prints from the old Aquanauts sets. And it's going to be my version of a yellow submarine. That's cool. And that's going to be a whole episode. This is just totally random. I found these. These are like, I think these are an actual Lego build from some random set, but some pretty cool like jet, like speedboat jet engine, like boat engines. And so yeah, these are just a few ideas that I'm excited about sharing with you, talking about with you, and building right here on this channel when the time is right. And hopefully that time will be sooner than later. I've got a few minutes left, so I want to just keep talking about things I'm excited about, the ideas that we talked about being talked about in the second half. Here's a cool one. I want to make, inspired by a couple of different things, I want to make something called a mind train. I want to make a train. A lot of people in the community, Lego trains are huge. Everybody loves Lego trains. I want to make my own Lego train. I actually have a huge bag over here to the side of Lego train elements so that I actually can build Lego train things in the future. But I want to build my mind as a train. That might sound weird, but it's an idea. I want to build a train that has an engine and several cars, and each one of these things, including the engine, has some kind of theme or representation or concept or idea that is things in my mind and things that make up me as a person. And I think that that is an awesome idea that I want to do. A mind train. That also is another one. I can't remember where it is. But I want to kind of create another kind of conceptual piece like that. I really intend to make some very modern art and kind of almost don't want to say the wrong word, but some really different kind of Lego designs, inspired by a book I have called The Cult of Lego. Maybe we'll go through there. I should mention I have a massive amount of Lego books that we can go through. I want to make a whole episode on Lego books. We'll have a Lego library tour, and that will be really fun for me and maybe anyone else who wants to see that. At one of those books is the one I just mentioned, The Cult of Lego, and it's incredible. Inside there's this portion that's specifically dedicated to Lego art, and this stuff is like nothing else you've ever seen, and it almost like invokes fear and discomfort and like agony. I don't know. It's just different. It takes you to a different world and a different place that you didn't know Lego could take you to. And it's nothing like over the line or inappropriate. It's just dark and different and unique. And it's cool. Really cool stuff. I can't wait to dive into that. We're wrapping up here. We've got about less than 10 minutes here. Some really fun things are going to happen on this channel, and I am super excited to just keep getting at it, keep these going, and we'll just keep talking, and eventually things will change, as things always do, and these episodes will become more focused on a specific build or a specific topic, and it hopefully should become more and more entertaining every day and every time I have an opportunity to do this. I want to mention a few more of these Lego ideas that I have, but I'm afraid I don't have enough time. So I will proceed with mentioning some more thanks to the people who helped me get this far with this channel. Everyone who's given me feedback and encouragement of any kind. I'm very grateful for them, and I really am. I am grateful for this space and anyone who listens to this in the future, because that's what it's all about. I want to have an episode where I just kind of go through these containers, kind of like this. I'll just go through every single one, and we'll spend a moment or two looking at them. I'll rotate them. We'll get some sounds out of it, because that's on a note where I mentioned before is I don't intend to make any kind of ASMR on this channel, but there's going to be times where everyone, including myself and the ones watching, will feel like this is borderline ASMR, and I don't have any problem with that. This is kind of a little bit of a sprinkling of extra in there that'll happen periodically. Yeah. And on that same episode, we might just go through every. It might have to be split up because there is a lot. Just every single container or device that I have that separates pieces, so you can get a real full idea and image of what I do here. How about I show off one more and we wrap it up? We'll move this over to the side. I want to actually put this back where it was. I saw one more cool thing up there on my little display shelf. I have one of my first MOCs that I made that I really got excited about. Like, I felt like I actually made something kind of cool. Like, sometimes you make something, you're like, meh, okay, whatever, this is fun. And then sometimes you make something and you're like, wow, I think I did something kind of cool. Um, this is inspired by a lot of different things. Um, but this I like to call the MOC bike because you're gonna be like, how is this a bike? But it's a bike because it's only manned by one man or one person, and this is supposed to be a very futuristic. Um, I just noticed that I used red and white, just like I want to do that jet, so it's kind of weird, but that's kind of a coincidence. I'm getting some dust off there. But this is such a cool thing. I love this because I was actually able to use this element here, which I thought was going to be basically impossible to use in a cool fashion. This trans red dome shield thing there. And the sleekness of this, I absolutely love. And it's supposed to be going at a Mach speed. And so MACH is one of the MOCs, and then MOC is another one of the MOCs. So it's my own creation, Mach speed, future bike, quote unquote. But in a sense, it actually runs on rails. See that? So it actually is a vehicle. It has these wheels, but it would be running on rails, kind of like those bullet trains in Japan or whatever. I believe that's where they're at. But yeah, so kind of a bullet train Mach, one-manned Mach, super hyper future bike, and I've got a dude in there, and he's like laying on his stomach with his hands forward, almost like the Batmobile motorcycle, the Batman motorcycle. And he's got all of his controls and terminals up in there. And I mean, I don't know how much you could have control of something like that. You'd be going Mach speed in a straight line, and then I don't know what would happen next. That's where your imagination comes in. So, that's that. That's the MOC bike. This has been another episode of Ocean's Entertainment. Thank you for participating and hanging out with me on this channel, listening to me ramble about Lego and the future of this channel. I'm so grateful. I know I keep saying it, but I'm going to keep saying it. I'm so happy for this space, this opportunity to hang out, bring people together, share and talk about ideas, and just have fun. That's what I'm here for, and I'm so happy for that. Thanks again. We'll be back soon. I am really trying to get myself to be doing this routinely. Thank you for your patience, and we'll be seeing you again soon. I really appreciate you guys. Thumbs up, whichever way that is. I am struggling. Hopefully that's thumbs up. It is. Okay. You guys are great. I'm testing. That's a thumbs down. We need a thumbs up. You guys are great. Have a nice night, and I will be seeing you very soon. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.